Subject is very interesting, and this subject I have chosen with the fact that this is one thing in our life. This is one thing in our life. If we get a command to it, we are going to get a good quality of our life. And I can make a big claim over here. This is one thing which we are been doing each second of our life, each moment of our life. This is something I have found in my life, that the people who are being a professional, proficient and having a mastery, they always got to a very different levels in their life. This is the one thing which I'm going to talk about, that if we get a focus on it, we can improvise in our relationship with our families, with our friends. This is the one thing in our life, if we can focus on, I can make a bet onto that this is going to give us an escalation in our professional career to a different level. I'm making a big claims, but the fact is, let's write it down. One of the important thing, if you have a pen and paper with you, please write it down. The quality of our life, the quality of our life is directly proportional to the quality of communication we are having. The quality of our life is directly proportional to the quality of communication we are having. So today we are going to talk about how much that communication plays a vital role in our life, and we have to look into that. What are the different aspects of this communication? And we have to look into it. We have to deep dive into that aspect. What are the important aspects? If we can work on it, we can actually understand the whole pattern, and we can emerge to a different level of profession. All right, are you excited? Are you interested with the subject? I hope that you have been with me on this. So let's look into that. What is first of all, let's look into that. The word has a Latin origin. It's a communicare. Communicare mean to share. So what I'm doing right now. So for example, there is certain message, and I'm using this medium. I'm using this technology, and I'm transmitting my message to you. And how this message is coded? This message is coded in form of my words, in form of my sentences, and then it is receiving to you. And once you are receiving to it, what exactly is the communication? I'm completing the loop. No, the loop is not completed unless and until I do not ask you. And that's why you might have seen many number of times, if I come across some of my colleagues around and I ask them how this session is going on, is it fulfilling your purpose? Is there something else I can work onto it? So this is a communication model, and we have to understand that part, that there is a two type of communication. You can write it down. Two type of communication. One type of communication is that the communication which we are making, which we are always doing within ourselves. One type of communication we are always doing within ourselves. Now, question is, you can ask me, Kamran, what type of communication is all about? What does it mean that we are doing the communication within ourselves? You know, many number of times we are being go around in our self-talk. While we are been coming to the office, there is certain self-talk continuously going on in your head. There is certain thought processes going into that. There are certain events which has been happened into your life. There are certain episodes which has been happened in your professional life, and there is a continuous dialogue around that going around into your mind. You know what type of communication we are doing? These events and these episodes which happen around, we always interpret, we decode it as per the meaning we assign to that. So what is the meaning I've been assigning to it? So for example, today I had not having a good day with my boss, and we've been getting into an arguments of some sort. So what meaning I can assign to it? So there is a dialogue going on. There is some sort of a process which has been going on. How I represent the whole episode to myself, what meaning I assign, this is called an internal communication. I remember I have talked about that, and please make a note of it, that the events in our life does not have any meaning. Events in our life does not have any meaning except the meaning which we assign to that. So what is the meaning I assign to the event? That carries a lot of reasoning for myself. So for example, while I've been doing my work, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and the question is that I walk around and I observe that, is there somebody has to appreciate on my work? So if there is nobody around who's not appreciating, so what meaning I assign? All right, am I not doing a worthwhile work? That's a question. So the meaning I assign to it. I'm going to share some of the interesting story which I've already talked about, that a very inspiring story for myself, that the famous painter Michelangelo, once he was painting the roof of a chapel, and he was just doing it diligently in some of the darkest corner of this chapel, and one of the person walks by and he said, Michael, you are doing it in such a far-flung area and there's nobody's going to see it over there. Why you are doing it so hard work over here? Then you know what he said? He said with a smile, he said, I'm doing it for the one who can even see in the darkest corner. What does it mean? What he was saying? He's saying, I'm not doing to please any person in my surrounding. I've been doing it to please the one who is always witnessing me, and this is my dealing with that, with dealing with my creator. I'm just doing it for that purpose. You know, that meaning has a power. So that's what one of the things which is called the internal communication. So I ask you, whenever you come across the situations, whenever you come across some sort of any challenging scenarios at your home or any challenging scenarios at your work, so what you have to do, you have to hold yourself back a little bit. You have to just give yourself a space and identify yourself, what meaning you are assigning. I would ask you, if you can write it down in a bold letter, this is going to change your whole life. Whatsoever the events happen, just write it down. What meaning I am being assigning to it. If the meanings are powerful, you have a different response and a different behavior. But if the meaning is disempowering, if the meaning which gives you a victim mindset, you are not going to respond back to anything. So lesson number one, in all of our internal communication, look into that. In the communication which is going around in my head right now, what meaning I've been assigning to it. If the meaning is disempowering, replace it with something powerful which has always been there, and it is going to change your behavior, change your response towards that. All right, that is one type of communication. Now, second type of communication. Second type of communication is which we have been always doing with the outside world. Now, being as a student of communication subject for almost 30 years, because around in different countries, I was conducting my sessions, I was interacting with a lot of people, and being as a consistent learner, I try to learn what exactly is working with the people. I'm going to distill some of the lessons learned for you. So whenever I've been communicating to you know, again, the process what I've been doing, any process has certain message, certain medium, and then you are on the receiving end and you assign certain meaning to that, and then I get the feedback. This is called the communication process. Many number of times people say it is not a question of a bad negotiation. It is not a question of a bad relationship. It is not a question of bad management. I'm going to tell you it is a subject of bad communication. It's a subject of bad communication. If we change our method, if I change our processes, we can get the different result. Because the best communication is always narrated is the outcome which you want. So for example, I've been communicating to you in a half an hour and I've been taking different example. I've been talking around about different concepts. But the question is, what is the outcome I'm looking for it? So if I'm getting that outcome, it means that my communication is effective. But if I'm not getting that defined outcome, it means that I have to do something into my communication process. So communication is not just transmitting a message. Communicating is about getting the desired outcome. Make it as a bold, make it as an underlined desired outcome. So for example, while I'm communicating with my family, while I'm communicating with the kid, I want to reform something. I want to ask them or motivate them or inspire them or guide them to do something different. If I'm being founding that this communication is giving me the desired outcome, it means the communication is effective. But if it is not giving me that, what I have to do? What I have to do if this communication is not giving me the desired outcome? The answer is I have to be flexible in what? Flexible in my methods. So if I do that type of communication, it is not giving me desired outcome, I have to change the methods. I have to change the channels.